Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Bullet Grill House High School Sports Pregame Show. Craig Irwin, alongside me, Brian Besh, Chris Moran. We're here at Bullet Grill House, 401 Highway 156 here in Point Blank, Texas. Here each and every Wednesday night, putting this show together, Brian, and got to put it together on Wednesday because Fridays, like this week, I'll be traveling to Hampshire Finette. Kind of hard to all of us get together and do a game. You're going to be on the road. No, you'll be at home.
No, we're going to Palestine.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna go up there. First road game of the season.
So, and Chris, he's going to be here at Bullet.
I'll be here.
Yeah. So, but I'm Craig Irwin with 590 Sports. You can find us on Facebook. Give us a like, give us a share over there. A lot of page growth over there. We're up over 78, 50, I think, followers on that page right now. So each week you can jump in there and join the pick'ems with us as we talk about them each and every week here on the Bullet Grill House pregame show. Brian Besh, Polk County Enterprise, writer extraordinaire.
I try to string sentences together. Polk County Enterprise, San Jacinto News Times, Houston County. Let's see. There's two more. Tyler County and which one did I not say? Trinity County.
At the end of the day, Brian, he's a sports editor, and he sees all the sports.
I try to anyway. I try to see as many as possible. Got out to Onalaska last night. Saw them play Corrigan in some volleyball. Like Craig said, this Friday we're going to get out and see Livingston and hopefully see them put their first win on the board this week against a tough Palestine team. And but yeah, have a lot of fun over there, and hopefully I can do better than this pick'em thing than I did last week.
Wow, it's going to get better. Brian Besh on the far, Chris Moran on the far side, owner, operator, general manager, and complaint department here at Bullet Grill House. But one thing about the Bullet Grill House you're not going to have a complaint about, and that's the food here.
Yeah, I hope so. We just rolled out a new menu this week. It's still got most of the I don't think we could take anything off. I tried suggesting some things to take off, and, boy, I got a little pushback. So.
I found one thing, honestly, that I would have dropped off, and it's just because it's too close to the spicy pig. But I understand why you have it on there because it's a keto-friendly. And that's the thing. I mean, they have something for everybody here at Bullet Grill House. But the keto pork or whatever.
Yeah, the loaded chip.
Yeah, the loaded chips.
Yeah.
It was good. But, I mean, you might as well just cheat and get the Cajun coleslaw thrown on there.
And you could always sub out the chips. Again, the keto-friendly is to get the pork rinds instead of the potato chips.
Pork rinds were great.
Yeah.
The one thing it was missing, because I get the spicy pig pretty regular, is the coleslaw that's on there. It's delicious. So you're allowed a cheat day when you're out there dieting. I know I allow 2 or 3. So just might as well get the loaded full meal deal. And you can get it with the pork rinds.
Yeah, you can get it.
And it's just as good. But I'm a huge fan of the coleslaw. I know Brian is too, because we talked about it as we were getting started last week.
Well, I was going to say every day is my cheat day. So everything on the menu that I think we talked about it last week, but everything, I think we tried 12 different things on the menu last year, and we loved every one of them. And Chris said that he's got a brand new menu this year, so we got a big mountain to climb for this year and get through all that.
Something we don't talk about it much, and we did get to try. So it was kind of a off-kilter deal. Was Chris and them were bringing in breakfast.
Yes.
And he brought chicken fried steak and eggs out.
Yeah, that was crazy good.
Yeah, we had that for a snack, and then we had our real meal.
You got to bother him about this breakfast thing because I don't know if he does it every day. But
we cut back a little bit on it. We were open every day. It just wasn't as busy as we had hoped. So we open a couple days. We open at 10. We'll do some breakfast if you come in for between 10 and 11, and then we're probably going to start opening Saturday mornings for college football pregame and start doing some and maybe just Saturday morning. So if you want to get some of those breakfast items, Saturday morning looks like it's going to be starting this Saturday. We're going to be open about 8 o'clock, so you can catch College Game Day. You catch the show here on the Eagle, our college pregame show, and then after that, you can watch some ESPN College Game Day till kickoff at 11 o'clock Saturday mornings.
Fun-filled day at Bullet Grill House on a Saturday. Eat delicious food, have good drinks, and watch a bunch of college football and listen to some great radio personalities, early on in the morning. Thank God we got Kim pushed out of this deal. But let's jump into it. Week 2 of high school football, my pick'ems were spot on. On SETX, I got 19 of the 21 games right.
There you go.
Overall, in that pick'em, but over on the 590N Sports pick'em, I missed one game, and it was the one game Chris got right. And we'll start with
that tells you how, because that's the only game I got right.
Yeah, but hey, that was a game that could have went either direction, and it was that close of a game. Last week was Newton at Woodville.
Last I saw on that was a 1-point game, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
It was a 1-point game, and y'all bear with me because I did not get a chance to put the show together as I normally do. I didn't get a chance to do all that, so we're going to be kind of roughing it today, as I normally have all of this put together, and we can really look at it and flow, but we're not going to be able to. But yeah, that was a 1-point game. I'm trying to pull it up right now, and there it is. It was 23-22. Woodville defeats Newton, and that tells me a couple different things. One, how good Woodville really is overall. Newton is still a good football team, and it's going to be hard for me to bet against them. But Woodville, I call it an upset win, in my book.
I think anytime Newton loses, it's going to be an upset. I mean, you're going to have to put them into 5A before you're not calling it an upset, because they've been such a powerhouse.
They have, and with having some coaching changes and stuff over the last couple of years, that makes it a little bit different. Makes it a little bit different for the Newton Eagles, but I guess kind of the deciding factor on that whole situation, and what you and I possibly didn't look at, and I did, is that game was on the road in Woodville.
Yeah.
And so you got to put that home field advantage into that, and I didn't do it, but Woodville coming out with the win, and Woodville's a team that I'm watching pretty heavy going into Cold Springs District 9-3A Division I. Is Woodville's one of those teams that I'm really going to watch. I'm thankful that Woodville's going to be coming to Cold Spring. And not that I don't mind going out to Woodville, but I think the home crowd is really beneficial for the Trojans. But Groveton defeated Trinity. That game there, I believe we all across the board picked Groveton to win that one.
Yeah.
And I had everything marked on here, but I forgot to save it after the show last week. Shepherd and Tarkington, that game was in Shepherd. Shepherd picks up their first win of the season. And after losing to New Waverly the week before, but Shepherd wins that one 30-14, and it was hard to follow that game because Tarkington was leading that game midway through the fourth quarter. I was getting some text message updates, and then Shepherd just kind of unleashed the beast late in the fourth quarter and was able to put 2 scores up and solidify that game and get their first win at home against the Tarkington Longhorns. Now, Tarkington won their first game since 2000 the week prior. There's a lot of hype in that community that thinks that program is real high and mighty, but you beat a very subpar football team 35-6.
Mm-hmm.
I understand where that carries your momentum, but yet that doesn't solidify really a win, and you're going to have this big successful season.
Yeah, and it's really nice to see Shepherd get a win. We've mentioned it a couple times before, but they're finally dropping down a classification. They were up in 4A, and one of the smallest schools in Texas that was in that classification.
Yes.
you've got, I'm sure, and it's probably done on purpose, and you'd have to ask Coach Robinson about this, but probably some confidence builders in non-district, because you have been taking a beating in these past couple of years to where you're facing schools that in some cases maybe they're nearly twice as big as you are.
Yep.
So you probably want some of these confidence builders to send you into the season. I'm sure there's going to be a challenge or two on the non-district schedule. But just to head into district with some confidence, to know you can win, to know how to win, to know how to hold a lead, to know how to keep a lead, and maybe, like in this instance, come from behind.
Yep. And that set it up good for Coach Robinson as they're going into this week. And they don't have a bye week until week 9, I believe it is, the week before. No,
That's
week
rough.
8, they have a bye week, and then they play Cold Spring at home. And then Cold Spring goes into their bye week prior to possibly making the playoffs. Still unknown, not saying Cold Springs is going to make the playoffs just yet, but here after next week's show, we're going to really talk about these districts and placing these teams where we think they're going to be.
Yeah.
Game that I was at, right up the road, right down the road, I guess I should say, from here from Bullet Grill House, was Cold Spring Trojans hosted the Splendora Wildcats. And I'm going to, and we had the pregame show on, then Christian and I went on the air about 10 minutes before kickoff and kind of talked about actual game time settings. We had a big rainstorm come through town about 5:30, and it just saturated everything. I mean, I bet we got 1.5 inches of rain in about 20 minutes. That much water fell. Splendora coming from a big 4A school, coming down to play Cold Spring. Splendora is typically on a turf field, playing on natural grass, and I told Christian, I said, I feel like one of the biggest disadvantages is for the Splendora Wildcats is the amount of water that's fell on natural grass, and those kids practice on turf all week long. They're not used to what natural grass and the footing. They're used to that solid footing on the turf. They're not used to that slippery footing on the natural grass, and it showed to be a factor for the Wildcats. Unable to put points on the board until late in the third, early fourth quarter. They scored one touchdown, missed assignment. It was on a blitz play. Caden Barton was blitzing on what was the near side linebacker. They were moving right. Splendora was moving right to left. Caden blitzed. He shot the gap, and the running back, Cruz, I believe his name was, bounced to the outside and was able to take it 65 yards to the house. Some bad angles, missed assignment there, and he was able to score. That was the only hiccup the defense had for the Cold Spring Trojans. Offensively, they fired on all cylinders. First touchdown of the game was a touchdown pass from about 15 yards out. Later on in the game, completed another 35-yard pass to Jaden Sparks. Good pitch and catch, made a good run behind it. And Easton Dean was able to put points on the board for the first time this season. So we've seen the fruits of the labor on multiple different levels. Not only, quarterback Luke Monroe, he was 3 for 3 passing for 2 touchdowns and a big completion downfield. So really set the Trojans up. Defense played obviously lights out, only giving up 7 points. Defensively had 2 picks. And, Splendora had some mistakes where they had Cold Spring down 4th and long and 4th and 8, 4th and 9, and had a personal foul roughing the center for a set of downs for your Trojans, kind of set the momentum up in the right direction, as well as later on in the game, there was another penalty that gave Cold Spring another first down and really pushed us downfield, and didn't score on either one of those drives, but it pushed Splendora back far enough to where that defense was bending a little but never broke.
Yeah. And just looking at the score, I figured Splendora had some troubles on offense as well, and of course it's a game that I'm interested in because they've got to play Livingston here later on. It's one of the first district games, I believe. I think it's the second district game that Livingston plays whenever district comes around. But one of those rivalry type games that it's become over the past few years for Livingston, and it will be a big game whenever that comes around. That first district game, I believe, is Huffman,
and then y'all have Livingston.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break here on the Bullet Grill House High School Sports Pregame Show. We run way over in this first segment, which I think is okay because Ken's not here, so he can't really do anything.
What's he going to say?
Yeah, he ain't going to say nothing. So, anyway, we're going to take a break here on 102.3 The Eagle, AM 1440 The Score, on 105.5 KDOL. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the Livingston Lions in the Needville game and run down a few scores around the area. You're listening to the Bullet Grill House High School Sports Pregame Show.